Hi, everybody. I wanted to give everyone an update. I've been periodically on Instagram and Facebook trying to clue everybody in on just how I've been doing on this carnivore diet. It's more or less officially been about 4 months since I've started this. For those of you that didn't follow me in the beginning through the process, my reason for starting the carnivore diet is because I have an autoimmune condition and I struggle with swelling. I struggle with hives. I struggle with a lot of different symptoms, but my stomach was always super bloated and very uncomfortable. Prior to going on vacation back in I think it was August, I decided that I was going to kind of get a little bit more restrictive and make some, pretty significant choices to where I wanted to try to drop a little bit of weight because we were going to do a photo shoot. So I really went the extra mile to try to drop some weight before we went on our vacation in August. And at the time, I was weighing 128 pounds. And so, I wasn't expecting to get down to 110 pounds or anything, but I was kind of hoping to maybe lose 5 pounds before we went on vacation, just so I could maybe just feel like in the pictures that I just looked like I was just a little less swollen. I really didn't ever eat anything at that point that maybe would lead to swelling. I always had a sort of like a veggie and protein diet with good quality fat. I didn't even eat starch, so I didn't even eat sweet potato. I certainly didn't eat grains. So prior to this vacation, I was only eating animal protein once a day, and I was having collagen as my protein source twice a day, and I was eating a lot of non-starchy vegetables, so things like broccoli, green beans, cauliflower, asparagus, cabbage. That's what I was eating before the vacation in August. I was having collagen and veggies and good fat, collagen, veggies, and good fat. And then for dinner, I'd have grass-fed beef. I'd only have 3 to 4 ounces of it, and then plenty of vegetables. And I was 128 pounds, and I felt swollen every day of my life. My eyes always had big bulges underneath, and I had pressure in my eyes all throughout the day because I just had so much swelling that it just pushed up against my face. And I've posted pictures of that to kind of show the difference in my face, but it's a pretty significant difference in my face. And then my stomach was just always bloated. Like I woke up with a bloated stomach, even though I didn't even eat until noon every day, and I didn't even eat meat. I only ate vegetables. I even took a vegetable enzyme every time I ate as well. And so what happened was I went on the vacation. I didn't lose any weight. I think I lost a pound, after all of that restriction, only doing 1 serving of animal protein per day. And I couldn't drop any weight. I couldn't drop any swelling. My rings were not fitting on my fingers. And just because I'm on this note, I'll say that this ring could not fit on this finger. And now it is so big that I have to wear it on my middle finger, and it's actually big on my middle finger. So I'm going to have to get it sized not only for this finger, but I can barely, I'm at a point where I'm almost not able to fit my wedding ring on my middle finger. So prior to the vacation in August, my rings were released. I was struggling to get my rings on and off. Again, having no fruit, having no starch, having no grains, having no sugar whatsoever. I didn't eat nuts. I just simply ate what I just informed you guys of. I dropped about a pound. I went on vacation. I have the pictures from that vacation. And when I look at the pictures from that vacation, I just feel swollen. I can feel the pain that I felt in my body every day. And I just felt uncomfortable every day. I didn't know why. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I was exercising. I do this for a living. I help people get well every day of their life. Everything I tried wasn't working. I was going to a homeopathic chiropractor twice a month. I saw a massage therapist every single week. I saw a chiropractor every single week. I did vitamin therapy every single week. I take extraordinary supplements that I buy from O'Fallon Nutrition. Nothing was working. And so when I came home, I started studying the carnivore diet. I actually started studying it when I was in Florida on that particular trip. And I just thought, well, what do I have to lose? Here I am thinking I'm doing the right thing by eating this excess of vegetables every single day and only having one serving of the grass-fed beef. And I started studying Paul Saladino. I studied multiple people that talked about it. Sean Baker. I did enjoy listening to Joe Rogan's podcast and his experience. Now he's, not continuing to do carnivore, but I did enjoy hearing what he had to say. Listen to the Jordan Pearson podcast. So there's quite a few things that I went through before I decided to do it. But honestly, the most effective information out there I felt was Paul Saladino. His information is very technical, and he's honestly kind of blown my mind on a few things. I still read the vegetable chapter I've read it multiple times, because I just think to myself, when he talks about broccoli, I used to eat broccoli every single day, and he kind of talks about the poisonous response that it isn't kind of, he very specifically talks about the poisonous response that your body can have from it. And I just remember how bad I used to feel every single day. And so the only thing I can think of is that I truly was having this type of response to the vegetables. So when I came home, I just said, okay, I'm just going to do this. Now, of course, I refused to do non-grass-fed beef, because non-grass-fed beef is pro-inflammatory. So you're getting negative omega-6 fats through that. And then when you're doing grass-finished beef, meaning there's no corn or grain fed to the cow whatsoever, that is an anti-inflammatory meat. So you're getting omega-3s when you're eating that type of beef. So I refused to do it unless I could find a quality source of beef, which at the time, the farmer that I had been receiving my meat from for the past 2 years, they couldn't get their meat packaged anymore. So I got 30 pounds of meat from them, and then that was all I had left. So I went and searched before I started this for a quality farmer, and found one. I found fedfromthefarm.com. They're out of Sedalia, a really, really sweet family. And then I decided, okay, if I have a farmer that I can work with, then I'll do it, because I can't eat chicken. I'm allergic to chicken. So beef was going to be really my only option, which honestly in the book they recommend. So I just thought, I found a farmer, I'm going to do this. So I started making the beef. I've been doing ground beef. I've been doing filet. I do sirloin steak, and I do chuck roast. Every now and again, I get a wild hair and I make a ribeye. But I honestly really don't do that much. Maybe once a month I'll do a ribeye. But it's usually filet, it's sirloin steak, and then the ground beef, and then chuck roast. And so my favorite thing is my hamburger, which you would think it would be my steak, but it's my hamburger. My husband gets my 2 iron skillets out, and he just pulverizes my hamburger. I have 4 pounds in each, and I use a little bit of avocado oil to keep it from sticking. And he just pulverizes it to where it's like loose meat. It's reminds me of a loose meat sandwich, like a beef burger sandwich. It's just so good. We used to have those as kids, and it's just so good. I don't get to put a sauce on it, but I can't even have pepper, and I'm not supposed to have mustard. And on the weekends, I have mustard, and I'm cheating basically by having the mustard. I have mustard that's made with apple cider vinegar instead of white vinegar, because white vinegar is derived from corn, so I can't have that with an autoimmune disease. So I do a mustard that I get from Whole Foods that has apple cider vinegar in it. And so my big cheat is on the weekends I have mustard. It's pretty exciting. And then all throughout the week, I eat at usually 12, 3, and 6. Some days are later, so I might eat at 11 o'clock, and then I eat at 3 o'clock, and then I eat at 7 o'clock. It just depends on kind of how my week is going. But I do eat 3 meals a day. What I found in the beginning, that my protein percentages were pretty high. So I was losing swelling basically. And I lost 10 pounds pretty quickly. So remind you, I told you that when I went on vacation, I couldn't even lose a pound from eating all those vegetables and only having 1 animal protein meal a day. I lost 1 pound. That was it. And so I lost 10 pounds very quick. that doesn't happen to me. I competed in bodybuilding, and you can kind of see my picture right there, many years ago, not 19, oh no, I don't even remember when it was, 2009 or something like that. Well, it was so long ago that I wore a one-piece swimsuit and a two-piece swimsuit. So that's when they used to have the one-piece. But anyways, I don't lose weight fast. I didn't lose weight for my show fast. I had to do 2 hours of cardio. I do not lose weight fast. And I lost 10 pounds pretty quickly. I was almost just like astonished by it. But it wasn't just that I lost 10 pounds quickly. It was like all of a sudden my rings were fitting and my eyes weren't hurting every day when I woke up because my skin wasn't pushing against it. And my face didn't feel as swollen. And like the back of my arms didn't feel as swollen. The lower part of my belly wasn't as swollen. My pants were fitting different just with 10 pounds. And so I was 128, so that got me to 118. And so I really had the goal to get to 110 pounds. And so I thought, okay, I'd really like to get to 110 pounds. I'm going to go get a DEXA scan. So I went to Lindenwood University. I got a DEXA scan. It was $75 for non-students. And that told me exactly how many pounds of lean body mass I had. So I had 89 pounds of lean body mass, and I was 118 pounds. So I decided at that point that I could either do 89 grams of protein, or I think I decided it was like 0.8 or 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. So I decided instead of doing the higher amount, which is kind of what I was doing to get the 10 pound, that initial 10 pounds off, which again, like I wasn't even trying. I was just doing the diet to see if it helped my immune system, which, oh my gosh, it did. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to go into a reduction phase and see what a reduction phase will do. So I went down to the low amount, the 0.8, which put me at like, I think 67 grams of protein. Oh gosh, it might've been 64 or 67. So then I went down to like 3 ounce servings of meat. And then I have my 2 scoops of collagen a day. So in doing that, just so you guys know, every Sunday and Monday, I have vegetables. I have romaine lettuce and I have asparagus with no seasoning other than salt on it. So that's the only vegetables I allow myself, and I don't have a large amount. I just have, maybe 4 to 6 spears of asparagus at each meal, and then maybe a handful of romaine lettuce, and that's it. So I was still going to do that when I went through this reduction phase with the protein. And I went through the reduction phase, and it wasn't as quick, but I mean, it was still pretty quick. And I went from 118 to 110. So I lost 8 more pounds. And then I went into Thanksgiving. And on Thanksgiving, I didn't cheat at all. I just had extra meat. So I had a 4th meal that day. I had lettuce, I had asparagus. So that was like a 3rd vegetable day for me that week. And I didn't gain any weight. I stayed at 110. I went into December and I stayed at 110. But then as Christmas hit, that week I had like multiple celebrations. And I never cheated at all. I just had a 4th meal on each of those days. So what I found is that if I'm on the higher level of protein at that 89 grams of protein, and if I'm having a 4th meal, then I'm going to maintain my weight at 110. I think what it's going to take for me to be able to get to below 110 is I'm just going to have to restrict, and I'm going to have to go down into that lower protein percentage, and I'm probably going to have to take like a solid 3 weeks where I do that so I can try to get the 2 pounds off. And then maybe I'll have to, get a little bit of extra cardio in. I don't do HIIT cardio because my body almost responds like a cortisol response when I do HIIT cardio. My whole body swells. I had to learn that. It took me quite a few years of doing HIIT cardio to learn that it was actually doing me more harm than it was good. Don't get me wrong, I totally believe in HIIT cardio, and I have plenty of clients that I have do it. But I also have plenty of clients that if I think that their immune system's responding to it or their hormones are responding to it, I downregulate them right away so that they get put on the right type of cardio. So what I'm thinking about is through January, trying to do that lower protein percentage. And then maybe, on my baking day, which is a bigger day, for me, a busier day for me, I'll go ahead and have 4 servings of meat, and that'll just be kind of like a higher calorie day with my vegetables. But then the rest of the week, I'll just do my 3 servings of meat and try to keep them at 3-ounce servings and my 2 scoops of collagen, and just kind of see if I can't get those extra 2 pounds off. What I'd really like to do is be at 108, because that was the weight that I competed at when I competed. But I was still so swollen at 108 then. And so I'd like to get to 108 and see if I could stay at 108. But I have no problems with being at 110. I feel so comfortable at 110. I spent pretty much my whole entire life being around 110 pounds up until, maybe 1998. And that's when I got really sick and thought I was going to die. I got down to 88 pounds. And then I went to a couple registered dietitians, started doing everything they told me to do. And I went all the way up to 150 pounds. And I went up to 150 pounds within like 2.5 months. I had to buy all new clothes. And I basically went hypothyroid and hyperthyroid, and then found out that I had Hashimoto's. And ever since then, my immune system's been attacking me. Now, granted, I started to get with the right doctor, started to change my food. So I got down to like 125, 130 again. And I was able to maintain that. But for a person that's been 110 their whole life, it just always felt like I was swollen. It always felt like I was uncomfortable. It always felt like something was wrong. Like just something was very wrong, and I could not ever figure out what to do. I mean, even if I would fast for an entire day, I could wake up the next day and have all of my meals and still end up having an issue, still end up feeling swollen. And again, never having sugar, never having gluten, never having dairy. I'm talking like 10 years of not having things, never having white potatoes. I don't eat nuts. I don't eat nut butter. I don't eat nut milk. I mean, I just seriously don't eat things. And I still would just have so many issues. So this really, truly is the first time that I've been able to remove the swelling. I'm clear. I don't get dizzy. I don't feel shaky. I very much feel like I just kind of run in ketosis. I don't really feel like it just kind of feels like a ketogenic diet to me, like it did when I used to try to do ketosis. But even then, I would do MCT oil and I would do veggies, and I think all of those things were causing a response in my body. So right now, I'm just sticking with fedfromthefarm.com. That's where I get all of my meat from. Those are all the cuts of meat that I still eat. And I wholeheartedly thought, well, I'm going to do this until the end of the year, and then I'll kind of go back, to eating, I guess, the way I used to eat. And I'm basically just like, why would I do that? I mean, I feel phenomenal. So Paul Saladino has enough research in his book that he has me convinced that I'm going to keep doing it, at least for the now. If I die young because I ate too much meat, I'd rather die young feeling the way I feel right now than die young fighting every day of my life to be able to feel okay. So, I'm believing God for a long, long life and being able to be 100 years old and sit down and talk to people about health and minister God's good grace and all that he's done for me in my life. But I just want to have it be a quality life, and this has provided a quality life for me for the past 4 months, so I'm going to stick with it. Now, I do have one little experiment that I did. I go to like I said, a homeopathic chiropractor who's amazing. She's kind of kept me alive for the past 10 years. And so she's loving hearing about this. This is just making her so happy. And I told her I was going to experiment with a new vegetable. And so I picked the vegetable that would cause me the most issue, right? So I just said, okay, I'm going to pick green beans, because whenever I would eat green beans before, my face would swell as soon as I would eat them. I would get big welts all over my back. The next day I would be up by 1 pound to 2 pounds. Like, it was never okay when I ate green beans. She would always have to do the muscle testing, the applied kinesiology, and reset things in my body whenever I ate green beans. So I was like, I'm going for the gusto here. I am going for green beans. So I get my skillet out and I've got my avocado oil in there because I kind of like them to be a little crispy. So I didn't want to use olive oil because I wanted to have a little higher heat. And I sat there and I'm making my green beans. And John was like, "You're going to eat green beans?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm going to eat the entire skillet of green beans." And he was like, "Okay, well, I'm glad you go see Dr. Anna tomorrow." And I said, "Yes, I am too, but I'm going to experiment and see what happens." And I just anticipated I would have all those same responses because like it's been years that I've been having those responses, and I would have them from other vegetables too, but I just anticipated that's what was going to happen. I didn't for a minute think that nothing was going to happen. And so I ate every single one of those green beans in this frozen bag of Whole Foods organic cut green beans. I just sat and ate them like the whole skillet full of green beans. I loved every minute of it too. They were delicious. I swear they tasted like candy to me, like pure carbohydrates. And so I'm thinking, I'm going to have a terrible headache. I'm going to start to swell. I'm going to get welts. My scalp used to get so itchy. I would feel like it was on fire. It was just crazy the things that would happen. And nothing happened. I literally had nothing happen. I didn't swell. I didn't itch. My stomach didn't feel. The night when I went to bed, I could tell I had green beans in my belly, but like before, my belly would just keep growing and growing and it would be hard and my pants wouldn't fit right. Even my leggings would feel tight. I would have like lines on me from the leggings from eating green beans. It wasn't like I had cake. Like I would get it if I was swollen and bloated off a cake. Everybody gets swollen, bloated off cake, but nope, I would have that for green beans, and I didn't have that happen. And so what does that tell me? That tells me that my immune system is healing. I'm starting to calm down. Now, I didn't wake up the next day and have green beans again, and I'm not going to have green beans again for a couple weeks. I'll probably have them once a month, and I probably won't have anything different next week. I'll just really give my system a chance to stay calm, to not have a response to anything. And if everything looks good for 2 weeks, I'll probably try maybe a different vegetable. Who knows? Maybe I'll put some carrots on top of my salad. Again, these are not vegetables that I'm planning on doing every week. These are just things that I'm adding in to sort of experiment and see what my body will do when I have them. I'm doing well with what I'm doing, so I'm not going to change it. Do I think that you should do a carnivore diet? I got to be honest with you. I really don't. I'm so thankful to feel better. You just have no idea. I've got this new book that my client gave me. It's called The Daily Deposit. And every day you have to write down what you're grateful for. And almost every day, I write down Jesus every day, but almost every day I write down that I'm not swollen anymore. Like I spent my life helping people feel better and helping them to become well. And I couldn't help myself become well. And this bank of doctors couldn't help me get well. And I feel well now. But the only reason I would suggest trying a diet like this is if you're in as much trouble as me. You were as swollen and as uncomfortable and just really having nothing help you. Because there just is so much more to life than this much restriction. And I just hate to see someone have to be this restricted if they don't have to be. So do I think you should do carnivore? Absolutely, if you are as sick as I was, okay? And do I think you should do it alone? Not really. I have a lot of minerals and things that I'm doing to stay balanced. There's pills that I'm taking. I'm taking organs in pill form so that I'm getting those minerals. Like I'm doing some different stuff, and that's what I get paid to do. So if you're gonna do it, I would probably pay someone to help you do it. I would be more than happy to help if you truly have a health problem. But if you really want to just do carnivore to lose weight, that's fine, but it is the worst diet to cheat on. You're going to totally mess up your health if you blow it on this diet. So if you do it for a week and then you blow it on the weekend with carbs and with alcohol, you're going to screw up your cholesterol and your liver's going to get all messed up. And a lot of things are really going to get messed up if you're going from one thing to the next. So if you're ever wanting to try to experiment with a ketogenic diet or ketosis, or you want to try to experiment with a carnivore diet, you have got to have it in your head that you're going to commit yourself to this for a while. Because it is just the worst thing you can do to yourself to go from a fat-based diet where you're trying to rely on fat as your energy source, and then just right smack dab in the middle of it, just throwing carbs and throwing alcohol and throwing sugar and throwing a bunch of garbage in so that you convert right over to insulin burning, and then all that extra fat and all that extra cholesterol, everything just gets dumped into your liver, and then you start changing the chemistry inside, and you really can start to mess some things up. So I just would not recommend doing a ketogenic diet or a carnivore diet if you are not a compliant person. If you are going to drink, if you're going to take in carbs, if you're going to eat sugar, those diets are not the diet for you. It's just not something that I would suggest doing at all. But if you're truly experiencing health issues, and those health issues are autoimmune, if you're finding yourself dealing with a lot of skin issues, a lot of gut issues, a lot of joint issues, a lot of chronic allergy issues, then that's when I would say it would be worth considering it. And then I would not consider it unless you know you're going to give it 3 to 4 weeks and you're not going off of it. You're going to stick it out so that you can really truly see the benefit that you end up getting from it. But like I said, I wouldn't just try to do it alone. There are a lot of different things that I have to do. I mean, I have doctors that I work with. I have a lot of people that I can run things by and get advice on that have a lot of education, and they can truly give me a perspective that makes sense when it comes to how to keep my minerals balanced and just how to keep my body within the right happy balance for me to stay healthy. So I wouldn't just jump out and just start eating meat every day. And do I really truly feel that everyone should go on a carnivore diet? I'm sorry. I love Paul Saladino. He has a wonderful book and it's changed my life. And that diet has really helped me, but I don't think anyone should have to live this restricted if they don't have to. Vegetables are an amazing thing. God gave them to us, and I just pray that people become healthy enough that they can eat them within moderation and truly feel well from them. They were attacking me. I was not okay with them. It was more than obvious that they were the cause of my issues. I wish it was something else. I'd give anything for it to have been something else. Fruit didn't help me either. I got pretty sick off of fruit as well. So for right now, I'm staying the course. Going into this year as a carnivore, and I don't know how long that will last for, but all I can tell you is that I feel like it's been a miracle. Starting at 128, going to 110, I just walk around feeling like a completely different person. So I pray blessing for you guys. I pray protection from the virus. I just pray healing and blessing. I pray that you make a decision to just get into the best health you've ever been in this year. And I pray that every decision you make with your fork matters, that you pay attention to every ingredient you take in your body, and not only for you, but for your family as well, because your kids matter. It matters what you're feeding your kids. Look at those ingredients. You're building their immune system right now at this age. Every choice you make for them is what's helping them to grow and helping them to have the health that they're going to need to have in their 20s and their 30s. So please make some amazing decisions at the beginning of this year and just really try to stay focused on real food, whole food, just good, clean choices. God bless you all, and thank you so much for listening.